In the middle of the glamorous New York City, where dreams are drawn and easily crushed, a rich man accidentally stops his car in front of his own destiny. Lucas Donovan, a successful, powerful, but lonely businessman. To him, love is just a frivolous illusion, something that cannot exist in the world of the strong. Elena Carter, a girl who had everything, then lost it all. From a person full of dreams, she fell into homelessness, wandering the cold streets, struggling to find a way to survive. Fate brought them together again, but this time, they were just two people from two different worlds. He offered to help. She refused with her remaining pride. But there was one thing Lucas didn't know. The haggard woman in front of him was the first kiss he had ever forgotten. Their story is a journey of overcoming the past, facing pain, and finding the love that seemed lost. Can Lucas break down the barriers in his heart? Is Elena brave enough to love again? And when memories flood back, will they choose to run away or write a different ending together? Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to support the channel, and subscribe so you don't miss any stories. Now, let's relax and listen to today's story. New York City never truly sleeps at night, but its dark corners never go away. While the glitzy downtown areas are ablaze with colorful lights, other parts of the city are plunged into cold darkness. One winter night, a light snow began to fall, blanketing the streets and parks in a blanket of white. Lucas Donovan sat in his luxurious Bentley, driving slowly down Fifth Avenue. He had just left a meeting with investors, but his mind was completely blank. At 35, Lucas owned a chain of luxury hotels across the United States, was one of the most successful men in New York. He had money and power, but deep inside, he felt empty. Have you ever been in love? Probably once, a long time ago, when you were still an innocent boy in high school. But that was a long time ago. Lucas had long since stopped believing in love. He had seen too many people who only came to him for money, for fame, and he no longer dreamed of true love. The wind blew hard, and snowflakes fluttered in the air. As Lucas drove through Central Park, a sight on the side of the road made him stop. A girl huddled on a stone bench, her old coat not enough to cover her skinny body. Elena Carter wrapped her arms around herself, trying to keep warm. The cold wind cut through her thin clothes, but she no longer had the strength to shiver. She was used to the cold, used to long nights without a roof over her head. She was once a girl with everything, a good family, a promising education, a heart full of dreams. But then life pushed her into the abyss. Her family went bankrupt. Her mother died of a serious illness. And when she thought things couldn't get any worse, the people she trusted the most betrayed her. With no home, no one by her side, she became homeless. Elena tried. She did all kinds of jobs to survive. She was a waitress, a cleaner, anything that could make money. But one by one, opportunities closed in front of her. Eventually, she lost her job and had nowhere to go. Lucas stopped the car, his eyes glued to the girl. There was something strange, a familiar feeling that he couldn't explain. He opened the door and stepped out into the cold air. Elena raised her head when she heard the sound of expensive shoes stepping on the snow. A tall man, dressed in a luxurious suit, was standing before her. His eyes were as cold as the winter sky, but there was something else, a concern that she did not expect. He didn't say anything right away. He just pulled out his wallet, took out a wad of money, and held it out to her. "Do you need help?" Elena looked at the money in his hand. She had taken money from strangers before when she was truly desperate. But right now, something was keeping her from reaching out. She smiled faintly, her eyes still bright despite her tired face. "I am not a beggar." Lucas frowned. This was not the reaction he expected. Most homeless people he had met were quick to take the money. Not this girl. He looked at her more closely. There was something in her eyes, pride, or maybe a pain he couldn't touch. "Are you here alone?" Lucas asked. Elena took a deep breath. You think I have someone by my side? Her answer stunned Lucas for a moment. There was something so familiar about her voice, the way she looked straight into his eyes. But Lucas couldn't remember. Elena turned away, as if to end the conversation. But Lucas couldn't leave her alone in the cold like this. Then let me help you in another way, he said, his voice low but firm. Elena narrowed her eyes, suspicion flashing. How are you going to help me? Lucas glanced at her again. She was not like the other homeless. She had once held a proud presence, though now it had been battered by the harsh days. He knew he was about to do something he would probably regret tomorrow. But right now, he couldn't turn back. Get in the car, he said. If you don't want to freeze, just sit there. Elena stared at him. It wasn't the first time she'd encountered a stranger offering help, but Lucas wasn't like the others. He didn't seem to pity her, nor did he seem to be doing a good deed just to feel more generous. But can she trust him? Elena clenched her fists, then sighed softly. Believe it or not, she knew that she couldn't survive the night if she just sat there. After a moment's hesitation, she stood up. Lucas opened the car door, and Elena stepped in, bringing with her the cold of the winter night. The Bentley rolled out of the park. Little did they know that this was not the first time they had met, and they also didn't know that tonight was the beginning of a story that fate had arranged long ago. The Bentley rolled slowly down the deserted streets, leaving behind the snow-covered park. Elena sat huddled in the seat, her hands clutching her thin coat. The warmth from the car's heating system gradually seeped into her skin, but she still felt a little uneasy. Who is this man? Why does he care about her? Elena glanced at Lucas from the corner of her eye. His face was angular, his eyes deep, but he didn't seem to pity her like the others. That made her feel both grateful and confused. Lucas, meanwhile, was also struggling with himself. He didn't understand why he stopped the car, why he took a homeless woman back to his hotel. But there was something in her eyes, pride, strength making him unable to turn away. The Donovan Grand Hotel. Elena let out a small sigh. She knew this place, one of the most luxurious hotels in New York, and it belonged to Lucas Donovan. Lucas opened the car door. Let's go. Elena hesitated. She did not want to accept the charity, but the biting cold and the nagging hunger made it impossible for her to object. Inside the hotel, the receptionist was stunned to see Lucas walk in with a woman who clearly looked homeless, but no one dared to ask questions. Lucas turned to the manager. Prepare a VIP room. Elena's eyes widened. I don't need... You just need a decent place to sleep tonight. Don't think too much about it. Elena pursed her lips. She hated the feeling of having to rely on others, but tonight she had no other choice. The next morning, the sunlight gently filtered through the curtains. Elena opened her eyes, feeling the warmth of the quilt around her. She blinked, taking a few seconds to realize where she was. A luxurious, spacious room with large windows overlooking the New York streets. How long has it been since she slept in a real bed? She got out of bed and walked to the mirror. Her reflection made her feel sad. Her hair was disheveled, her face was haggard, her eyes were tired. She had been a beautiful, vibrant girl. Now she was a ghost of herself. The door opened. Lucas walked in, a cup of coffee in hand. Did you sleep well? Elena was startled, but then nodded slightly. Not bad. Lucas put his coffee cup on the table. I can help you find a job. Elena paused. Lucas continued. This hotel is always in need of staff. I can arrange... No, Elena interrupted. I don't need pity. Lucas was silent. He looked at her for a long time, as if trying to understand her. I don't pity you, he said slowly. I just think you deserve a chance. Elena turned her face away. She didn't want to appear weak in front of this man. Lucas sighed. There was something about her that felt strangely familiar, but he couldn't remember why. and so does Elena. She couldn't forget those blue eyes, but she didn't want to admit it. It couldn't be. It couldn't be such a coincidence. In the evening, Lucas knocked on Elena's door. "I have made reservations at the hotel restaurant. Would you like to have dinner?" Elena hesitated. "Consider it a thank you for giving you a place to sleep," Lucas added. Elena stared at him, trying to guess what he was thinking. Finally, she nodded slightly. The restaurant in the Donovan Grand Hotel was one of the most luxurious in New York. Under the warm yellow lights, Elena felt out of place. She wore a simple dress provided by the hotel, but still felt like she didn't belong here. Lucas sat across from her, holding a glass of wine. "Where did you live?" Elena glanced across the table. "Many places." Lucas chuckled. "That's a vague answer." Elena sighed. "I used to live in a small town." Lucas was curious. "What name?" Elena hesitated, then softly replied, "Ridgewood." Lucas paused. "Ridgewood, where he grew up? Where I had my first love? Where he had his first kiss?" He put down his glass. "Where did you go to school?" Elena bit her lip. She didn't want to mention the past, but Lucas kept staring at her. Finally, she said softly, "Ridgewood High." Lucas took a deep breath. His heart was pounding. He also studied there. He looked at Elena differently. Vague memories began to flood back. A girl with long brown hair, a bright smile. But it can't be. There's no way she's Elena. The woman sitting in front of him. The atmosphere between them suddenly became stifling. Lucas stared at Elena, his mind a jumble of memories. Ridgewood High. How could it be such a coincidence? Elena looked down, avoiding Lucas's eyes. She knew he was remembering. She didn't want to face this. "You go to Ridgewood High?" Lucas said, slowly, as if confirming to himself. Elena pursed her lips. Finally, she nodded slightly. There was a long silence. Lucas leaned back in his chair, his eyes filled with surprise. Do I know you?" Elena clutched the hem of her skirt, her breathing becoming rapid. She didn't know how to respond. Lucas rubbed his temples. The pieces of his memories slowly came together. A girl with long brown hair, bright eyes, and a radiant smile. A ball under the sparkling lights. Then suddenly, the image appeared clearly in his mind. More than 20 years ago, a 15-year-old boy stood trembling in the middle of the school dance floor, anxiously waiting for something special. And then, a beautiful girl walked up to him, looked at him with gentle eyes, and gently placed a kiss on his lips. Lucas's heart pounded. He looked at Elena, as if she had just become a completely different person. "Oh my God," he gasped. "It's you." Elena closed her eyes, knowing that this moment was inevitable. She nodded slightly. Lucas propped his elbows on the table, trying to collect his thoughts. He remembered Elena Carter, the girl he had liked all through high school, the one who had given him his first kiss, then disappeared after graduation. Now, she was sitting in front of him, in a simple dress, with eyes filled with hurt and fatigue. Elena forced a smile. "Surprised, huh?" Lucas didn't answer right away. He still couldn't believe it. "I thought you had a better life," he said softly. Elena smiled bitterly. "I thought so too." Lucas looked at her intently. "What happened to you?" Elena bowed her head, her hands clasped together. She had tried to forget the past, but now, under Lucas's gaze, she knew she could no longer hide. She took a deep breath, then began to tell. She used to have it all: a happy family, a warm home, beautiful dreams for the future. But then, her father made a bad investment. The company went bankrupt. Everything collapsed. Her father couldn't bear the shock and suddenly passed away from a heart attack. Her mother tried to keep the family together, but the debt was too great. After a few years of struggling, she also passed away. Alone in the big world, Elena had nothing left. She tried. She worked many jobs to make a living, but society was not easy on a young girl without anyone to back her up. She was cheated, lost all her little money. Then little by little, she lost her home, her job, and finally, herself. And so I became homeless. Elena finished the story in a soft tone, but her eyes spoke of all the suffering she had gone through. Lucas clenched his fists. He felt a strange pain creep into his heart. He missed the old Elena, a strong girl, full of passion for life. She was the first person to make him feel something like love. And now, she was a homeless woman, struggling to make a living on the streets. This shouldn't have happened, he said, his voice low. Elena laughed, but without any joy. But it happened. Lucas looked at her for a long time, then said firmly, "You won't have to live like this anymore. I'll help you." Elena immediately shook her head. "No." Lucas frowned. "Why?" "Because I don't want to be a parasite," Elena replied immediately. "I don't want to be helped just because you pity me." Lucas leaned forward. "Elena, do you think I did this out of pity?" Elena was silent. Lucas sighed. "I'm not helping you because you're homeless. I'm helping you because you're Elena Carter. Because you were important to me." Elena bit her lip. She didn't want to believe that Lucas actually cared. She didn't want to hope. "Thank you," she said softly. "But I have to get up on my own. If I accept your help, I will be forever in your debt, and I don't want that." Lucas looked at her, his eyes filled with disappointment and helplessness. He had never met a woman as proud as her, and perhaps that was what made it impossible for him to leave her alone. Elena couldn't refuse forever. After many days of Lucas's persistent persuasion, she finally agreed to become his personal assistant. This allowed her to earn money legitimately without feeling like a freeloader. From being homeless, she now has a real job. The first days working for Lucas were not easy. Elena has no experience as an assistant. She fumbles with his schedule, gets confused between meetings, and even spills coffee on important documents. But instead of getting angry, Lucas just laughed. "You'd be better off as a waitress," he teased. Elena pouted. "If you keep teasing me like that, I'll quit." Lucas tilted his head. "You need the money." Elena turned away resentfully, but felt warm inside. Gradually, she became familiar with the job. She learned to manage Lucas's schedule, organize documents, and even began to have input on his hotel projects. And Lucas realized one thing. Elena is still the smart, strong girl of the past. Every day, when he saw her working with focused eyes, when he saw her smile every time she completed a difficult task, he felt his heart flutter. No, it's not pity anymore. He likes her. And perhaps he never stopped liking her. One evening, Lucas took Elena to a business party. She wore an elegant blue dress, the first dress she bought with her own salary. He couldn't take his eyes off her. "You look beautiful," he said. Elena blushed, but she just smiled slightly. Throughout the party, Lucas was by her side, introducing her to the partners, listening to her conversations. And when the party ended, he took her back to the hotel, stood in front of her room, and hesitated for a moment. "Do you think—" He hesitated. "Could we try again?" Elena was stunned. "What do you mean?" Lucas looked her straight in the eyes. "I mean, I want to date you. Seriously." Elena's heart pounded. She had dreamed of this moment. "But, Lucas, I don't think this is a good idea." She took a step back. "I am not who you think I am anymore." Lucas frowned. "I know who you are, Elena. I know you're the girl who made my heart flutter when I was 15. And I know you're the strong woman who has overcome so much pain and still hasn't broken down." He gently took her hand. "And I like you. Not because you are the Elena of the past, but because you are the Elena of the present." Elena didn't know what to say. Her heart wanted to believe him, but her mind was still afraid. Finally, she just whispered, "Let me think." Everything seemed to be going well. But then, Elena's past comes back to haunt her. One day, an article appeared in the tabloids. Elena Carter, from rich girl to homeless. They dug up her entire past, from her family's bankruptcy to her life on the streets. Those who hurt her, the guys who cheated her out of her last money, also come. They send threatening messages. Do you think you can start over? Don't forget you still owe us a big debt. Elena panicked. She knew she couldn't let Lucas get caught up in this. If she stays with him, his reputation will be damaged. He might lose everything because of her. She had to leave. Elena writes a letter and leaves it on Lucas's desk. Lucas, I can't stay. Thank you for everything, but I don't belong in your world. Forget about me. Then she left the hotel, disappearing into the night. When Lucas read the letter, he immediately rushed out of the office. He searched for her everywhere. Finally, he found her dragging her suitcase on the sidewalk, tears streaming down her cheeks. Elena! He shouted. She was stunned and turned back. Lucas ran over and grabbed her hand. Where are you going? Elena turned away, her voice trembling. I can't stay. I don't want you to get involved. Lucas squeezed her hand. Elena, I don't care about your past. I don't care what the press says. I care about what you want. Elena's tears fell. Lucas, I just want you to be happy. Then don't leave me. He looked at her, his eyes filled with longing. Please. Elena choked. For the first time in years, she felt like someone actually wanted to hold her. And for the first time, she allowed herself to believe in love. Elena stood there, her heart torn between reason and emotion. She had run away, tried to leave Lucas's life because she thought it was the best thing for him. But now, he was standing before her, his eyes filled with sincerity and without hesitation. I don't care who you are, Elena, Lucas said, his voice warm but strong. No matter what your past is, no matter what the world says, I still love you. Elena choked. But I don't want you to get hurt because of me. I can't. Lucas squeezed her hand. I'm a grown man, Elena. I don't need anyone to tell me what to do with my heart. He looked her straight in the eyes. I know what I want, and I want you. Elena never thought she could be loved again. She had lost so much in her life, she once believed she didn't deserve happiness. But when she looked into Lucas's eyes, she realized one truth. She loves him too. Since when? She didn't know. Maybe it was from the moment he stopped the car in front of the park that rainy night. Or maybe it was many years ago, when they were still dreamy children. Elena, Lucas whispered, his voice trembling slightly. Elena squeezed his hand, tears rolling down her face. I love you, Lucas. A smile appeared on Lucas's lips, a bright, satisfied smile. He said nothing more. He just pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly, as if afraid she would disappear again. Lucas doesn't just want to protect Elena with promises. He acted. Using his power and influence, he helped her sue those who had deceived her family, restoring her honor in front of the media. Her story was all over the newspapers, from a homeless girl to a strong woman rebuilding her life. Those who harmed her were brought to light. Elena is no longer a victim. She is a victor, and Lucas was always there for her. One night, Lucas took Elena to the hotel rooftop, the highest point in the city, with the lights of New York shining below them. The gentle wind blew by, carrying a breath of the past. Do you remember? Lucas asked, his eyes sparkling. Elena looked up at him, her lips curving slightly. How could I forget? This is where you took my first kiss. Lucas laughed. You took my first kiss too. Elena tilted her head slightly. So, what are you going to get now? Lucas stepped closer, his eyes filled with tenderness. I don't want anything, he whispered. I just want to give you a new start. Having said that, he bent down and placed a kiss on her lips. Not the hasty kiss of immature schoolboys, but it was a kiss filled with love, respect, and promises for the future. When their eyes met, Elena smiled slightly. "Lucas, this is our second first kiss." Lucas hugged her, his eyes shining with sincerity. "No, Elena, this isn't just my first kiss." He touched her cheek lightly. "It's our new beginning." Elena closed her eyes, letting happiness fill her heart. And under the New York night sky, amidst the bright lights and gentle breeze, they start a new chapter in their lives. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this story. If you like this story, don't forget to like to support the channel and subscribe so you don't miss any stories.